Hey guys, welcome back to Master Gaming Studios. I'm Craig, and today we're going to go over a quick video on my Genestealer Cult 2000 point list that I am anticipating using in the Arks of Omen Age of Warhammer 40k. Now I know we touched on Tyranid 2000 point list. I did 3 of them. I love Tyranids a lot more. The channel covers a lot more in depth, so that was 3 lists. This is just going to be 1 list because Genestealer Cult aren't my best army, but they're a fun one that I like to try out. So we will be trying, and I just want to share this 1 list while we're on the theme of list ideas. And then on Monday, hopefully Monday, I know a lot of you have asked for updated 1000 point Tyranid lists, so I will be diving back into that video. I think when I made that original one, a lot has changed. Specifically, Leviathan is not what it used to be, so I'm pretty sure my old Leviathan list had like, I don't know, 9 warriors or something stupid in it, and now it's not the case as you should take. So we'll touch on that, rehash it, and see how it changes for Arks of Omen. But for today, we are going to dive into the Genestealer Cult. I'll blaze through all the things. Do like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our content here at Master Gaming Studios. We've got the Etsy shop. Thank you, channel members. Again, channel members are what keep this channel going at the pace and the level of growth that it can. And Saturday, February 4th at noon Central Standard Time for the US, we do have our live stream. So mark your calendars if you want to check that out. We do want to make it a special first live stream, and we might be doing a small giveaway during the live stream as well. Maybe if I can figure out the software for it. So now with all that way, let's dive into today's Genestealer Cult list. So like I said, in today's video, we're going to go over my 2000 point Genestealer Cult list that I'm going to be trying. We're going to go over the cult, well, the list first, what it is, the specific cult I went with it, why I chose it, some potential secondaries I think the Genestealer Cult are going to use while they play it, and the overall play style of the list a little bit too. The main thing is that I think Genestealer Cult benefited a ton from this chapter approved balanced data slate, all of these updates. The main reason being two things. One, the new Arks of Omen detachment now gives Genestealer Cult the flexibility they need of where they used to be wanting to take brigade detachments, but they can never fill out every single slot. There's always one missing, whether it was fast attack or heavy support, typically not troops elite or HQ. But the heavy support, the fast attack, you never had enough points to fill them all out to get to the brigade. Now, we can just fill up the troop choices and have access to whatever we need. We could fill up the elites, the fast attack. Genestealer Cult can do it all. The other thing is Armor Contempt is gone, and Genestealer Cult are an army filled with AP-1 and AP-2. There's a bit more, obviously, but they are filled with that sort of firepower. So Marines losing Armor Contempt is going to be big for their damage output. And with those reasons, I think their secondaries also didn't really change. Behind enemy lines got better, so Genestealer Cult are going to be scoring that even more. We'll talk about all those, but let's get into the list. So I am going for a more horde, mass board control style list. The only HQ I'm bringing is a Magus with the Familiar. I'll probably give him the Might from Beyond Psychic Power and then Mass Hypnosis or something else. It doesn't matter. I will have the CP to give a unit the Might from Beyond from across the board, so that allows him to just tuck in the corner and hide pretty much. Going into everything else, we did have a big block of 10 Acolytes. I'm bringing 4 Rock Cutters, not the Rock Saws like I normally do, but the Rock Cutters. The Icon, because the Icon now got way cheaper, and they will be giving the proficient planning of a Trap Sprung, which is when they arrive, they get 3d6, take the 2 highest on the charge. So that comes in, they come in at 155 points. We then have 2 more 5-man Acolyte squads with 2 Rock Cutters each. So both those units come in at 65 points. We have another 5-man Acolyte squad This squad is given the proficient planning of lying in wait. So the point of them is to be a cheap unit to hop into the backfield. They can deploy really close to your opponent, so it'll be hard for them to screen them out. And then they can do the RBD. It's retrieve battlefield data. I've actually looked at the book now. So RBD, and they will be getting me behind enemy lines. So that point alone, or that unit alone, popping in there is basically worth 7 victory points right there. It's a shame you can't take 2 of them. Then we go into our neophytes. We have 2 units of 10 neophytes with 2 seismic cannons each. So there be 90 points a squad. And then I have 1 more squad of neophytes just with the grenade launcher because that's what the points pretty much permitted. In elites, we have a killer morph. I'm giving the 1 relic of the worm-tooth rounds just because I want a little more anti-heavy infantry punch. All of it's pretty good, but the worm-tooth rounds are pretty solid on him. So maybe I'll drop him, maybe I won't. 80 points for him. The Nexus is coming in at 50 points. I really do love the Nexus for his 50 points. He can go chill in the back with the Magus and the 10 neophytes and just give a unit crossfire every single turn. Really can amp up your damage potential in the shooting phase. Then we have 2 units of 10 pure strain Genestealers. One of them has they came from below proficient planning. This is the one that allows him to take that pre-game move after we know who went first. So it could allow for some potential turn 1 charges, threaten your opponent, things like that. I then have in the fast attack 3 Ridge Runners. These guys have the missile launchers, the flare launchers, and then I'm giving them the proficient planning of from every angle. And this will allow them to pop on the board from strategic reserve on turn 1. Pretty much they take up a massive footprint on the table. So giving them every angle will allow me to keep them off the board because it's going to be hard to hide them. Then they can come on, blast away, hopefully drop something, use some crossfire tokens. Pretty good. Maybe I'll drop them in the future, add just more troop choices and characters, the Genestealers, whatnot. But I really like the model and I like the aesthetic of them, so I do want to bring them. Filling out the fast attack, we have 2 units of 4 Jackals. Each one is given a grenade launcher. Pretty much these guys are just going to be more screening, steal an early objective, not try to do too much, but the grenade launcher is nice to try and gain a free cheeky crossfire token on a unit because it is damage 2 if you fire it with the crack grenade, so could get a free crossfire token off and make life easier for other things. Heavy support, we have 2 rock grinders with the incinerators and demo charges. And then we have 3 trucks with demolition charges. These guys have specific ones, so they're going to hold my 2 neophyte squads with the seismic cannons, and then they're going to hold the 1 Genestealer squad that doesn't have the proficient planning. That way they can be protected turn 1, zip up, do whatever they need to do. But this is a big list, tons of models here. So we'll see how it does, but that is the list. So then into the cult selection of this. Now this is important for Genestealer Cult because while their main cults are good, I think Genestealer Cult have one of, if not the best sets of creating custom cults, at least to benefit their playstyle. And that's what I'm doing for this one. So the way custom cults work for Genestealers is that you can pick up to 4 traits. You have 4 points to spend. Each trait is valued anywhere from 1 to 4 points. And you can spend them as you wish. So you could do some people and take 3 in 1. You go 2 and 2, 2, 1 and 1. Or like me, I'm going 4 of them that are all worth 1 point. All, I think, have a nice benefit to helping out the way my army performs. So the Accustom for Turmoil is my first one. This gives my entire army mini transhuman. It's great for an army of toughness 3 and 4 things. As well, if my opponent has some big anti-tank weapons, he can't wound my tanks or my vehicles on 2s. Easy and solid there. We then have Cold-Eyed Killers. This is the more meh one out of all of them, but it was the only other one that was worth 1 point. And then the 6 is to wound melee, get extra AP. It's not bad, especially with the Acolytes already being AP2. Getting up to AP3 on Acolytes or AP4 on Stealers on some of those wounds will actually be pretty good. And neophytes, if they get stuck in combat, there's a chance there's some AP on their hits. Next one, Industrial Affinity. This is a very important one for the army. So this allows no penalty to hit with industrial weapons. So my rock cutters are strength times 2, AP minus 3, damage 3, I believe. Maybe it's AP minus 4. But anyway, AP minus 3, damage 3. But they are minus 1 to hit with it because they're like, an unwieldy weapon. This will ignore that penalty, allowing them to hit as normal. So they are just flat out better than rock saws right now. Granted, rock saws got 5 points cheaper, but still, rock cutters with this, I think, are going to be a good change to the army. Also, my seismic cannons. Yes, I have 4 of them, but not having a penalty to firing with these seismic cannons means they're going to be hitting on 3s with crossfire and be that much more effective. I mean, 2 of these can drop a 5-man with crossfire and exposed even. 2 seismic cannons could drop 5 intercessors with relative ease. And finally, War Convoy for my last one, and that's all my vehicles and bikers gain a 6-up feel no pain. I do have a lot of wounds in vehicles and bikers, and they are some of my more anti-heavy infantry and tank firepower. So it'll be great. All of the bikes will have that -1 to hit and 6-up feel no pain. The Ridge Runners will have 6-up invuln and 6-up feel no pain with the flare launchers on there. And then all of the trucks and rock grinders will have the 6-up feel no pain and -1 damage. Really just to keep that whole portion of my army alive for just a little bit longer. So that is the cult. I think it's going to do well. We'll see. Now we'll go over to some secondaries where the Genestealer Cult really excel. The first 2 are really easy. So retrieve Arks of Omen data. Genestealer Cult do this better than just about any other army in the game. Maybe you could argue Dark Eldar have a chance to do that one just as well, but still, Genestealer Cult do this so efficiently. It's a 12 easy points. The next option, depending on your deployment zone, engage on all fronts or behind enemy lines. It really depends on the map. Sometimes your opponent's deployment zone is huge, so behind enemy lines is a no-brainer there. Sometimes you have a smaller deployment zone, but you have easy access to all 3 quadrants right away. In that case, behind enemy lines might be good because you're also doubling up by going for some of the Arks of Omen data while you're doing this one as well. So either way, you can pretty much get an easy 12 points on those ones, and then any extra is just icing on top. The third one is often tricky for Genestealer Cult. They do have some options. Ambush is an interesting one. I typically don't do too well with it. It's normally I can do better than 5, but it's nowhere near like a 15 scorer. It's probably closer to 10. Though if maybe I'll try, we'll see. Some of the other killing ones, assassinate and bring it down. If I'm going up against vehicles, a lot of vehicles that don't have reduced damage by 1, Genestealer Cult can actually do pretty good against that with all their demolition charges. But then you worry, okay, but if I'm going a bunch of vehicles, can they kill them? So bring it down could be an option. Assassinate could also be an option with the speed, the deployment mobility to sneak around and kill objectives. Another option that I am toying with is dropping the Magus, taking just like a Banner Boy, or maybe a Primus, maybe a Jackal Alphys, yeah. And then being able to take the Kill Psychers secondary, which could be good in some situations. I've honestly never taken that one because I almost always bring Psychers, no matter what army I play. I just love having psychic abilities, so maybe not. Third one, if you got any other suggestions for that third one, let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I definitely will be using this list or a very close iteration to it on the channel in the future. Probably won't happen. You probably won't see it until February, but this is a list that I really want to try at some point. Okay, so I actually just did count it count it over. You only give up the 4 for the 6, 7 for assassinate. You only give up about 9 or 10 points for no prisoners. And then for bring it down, you will give up 13 points. So your opponent might be taking that one more than anything. But yeah, that is about the list. That's all I have. Again, I just been in the mood of creating lists with all these new rules and stuff, so I wanted to share that with you guys, see how I've been playing. I know some of you in the comments are much better at Genestealer Cult than I am. Do you have any hints? Do you think this list will do well? Let me know. I think it's at least got some teeth in the game. I'll try it at some point for sure. And then again on Monday, we will be touching, hopefully on Monday, we will be touching on the 1,000 point tier list because a lot of people really want to see that. So stay tuned to that. Stay tuned to the live stream. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios.